Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Alrighty, we are live. Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, Steven Jodran, and familiar face to maybe some longtime listeners, Arman Kafai makes his triumphant return to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. Arman, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. I know you guys don't like me anymore, but you guys, I'm honored to, be presented an opportunity to be invited back on the show.
What a liar.
Yeah, that was Cap. I talk to these guys every day.
What a liar. This guy talks about his card collection like
Top Shots, baby. It's Top Shots now. We're not doing cards anymore.
Hey, it's me and Jake's card collection. We're in this together, okay?
Yeah.
It's actually Jake and I.
Okay, man, look. I got 2 degrees and one of them wasn't in English, and both of them weren't in English. Okay, so, yeah.
Was one of them in Thugonomics?
It was in Cardinal.
Does anybody get that reference? Does anybody?
Actually, feel like I do, no. But maybe
that old. Was I think that was John Cena's wrestling name before he went to John Cena. So I think he was the professor of Thugonomics or something like that. So,
are you the professor of Thugonomics?
No. Depends on who you ask.
Wow, guys, it's been a while, huh?
Honestly,
it's been a year, I think, because my internship started in February.
I think right around January was when, February, January, somewhere in that time. COVID wasn't a thing. I remember when I was telling everybody that COVID's never going to be a thing. There's nothing to worry about.
The bad takes went wrong again, man.
Yeah, they never.
Hey, Armand, you were also kind of like throwing it, playing it off early on when everybody was.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I was cracking jokes about it in January. I remember I was with some buddies and they're like, I was like, hey, bro, I don't have coronavirus. You're fine, bro. Like when we're sharing food. Now that didn't age well. That did not age well at all. But man, that was wild, guys. Like life was fine.
Fun.
Fun. All doing stuff.
Says the guy living in Texas.
Dude, Texas is interesting. Honestly, it's very interesting. You guys, 2 weeks ago, no one had power, and
actually, wait, Armand, let me pause you there. We've once recorded during a tornado.
A nader.
Yeah.
We wanted to get you on 2 weeks ago and say you're going through, I don't know, blizzard, whatever you want to call it, whatever happened in Texas. But how'd you survive?
So our power went out a couple times, but I mean it was more consistent than some buddies I know, they were sleeping in 34-degree weather, 4 or 5 layers on, a bunch of blankets and stuff like that. I know people are obviously even way worse off. Our pipes burst in our house, so we didn't have water for a couple of days. And fun fact, it takes around 2 big jugs of water to flush a toilet, because that's what we had to do in order to actually go through and flush it. But I mean, outside of that, Texas is interesting, man. It's interesting because it's 70 degrees. It was freezing, and now it's 70 degrees. I'm sorry for complaining about cold weather because I know you guys hate it, but I hate cold weather, man.
No cap.
But it's
did I use it the right way? I don't even know if I use
it. Kind of. I mean. I mean, Texas is interesting. Like I said, it's really interesting, especially with the old, what's going on with COVID and stuff like that. It's different in a lot of places, I'll tell you that.
Well, Jake, how are you doing? I mean, obviously, you've kind of been the captain of the ship, but...
Jake is the leader of Uncle Sam's American Soccer Podcast.
There you go. There's the reference.
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now.
All right, Captain. Where are we going?
Sam's American Soccer Podcast. All right, so FC Dallas, Armand. Tell us about that. Can you tell us about that? What can you tell us about that? Let's put you on the spot right away.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Let's put you on the hot seat.
So So for those who don't know, and those who are new to the show, or those who forgot, which I mean all of them are pretty likely, I worked as a data analyst intern at FC Dallas for a year, from around this time till about, I mean, the end of the season, to be quite honest with you, till we played Seattle and sadly fell to them in the playoffs. It was a great time. To be honest with you, working for a professional team, I think you guys both know this, has been a dream of mine. It continues to be a dream of mine. And it's different. I'll tell you that. It's really different when you're on the other side of things and have a little bit of input in, potential things that could, you win a game or you lose a game. There's a lot more on the line than, when we're just, just talking it up, chopping it up on the pod. Oh, I would do this, I would do this. Now you got to think about it a little bit more when you're actually, working for a team. But just overall, it was an amazing experience. There's so much, I learned so much in that process, in sport, without sport, like whatever, to be honest with you, just picking up so many things. And it, like I said, genuinely just taught me quite a bit on how to, I guess, use things and kind of what you oh, we hear XG and XA and all that stuff. Like, how can I use that in a way that actually makes sense to decision makers, to players, not players, but to coaches, etc. And have them understand it. So it was super interesting. It was super fun. I mean, I'm not. I loved it. It was super strange when COVID happened, man. The first 2 weeks, we played Philadelphia, and then it was Montreal, which. You're going up and you're helping, Thierry Henry, which, rest in peace to that. As everyone saw, he dipped.
R.I.P. in peace.
R.I.P.
I mean, you make it sound like he died.
I mean, his MLS coaching career is.
He'll be back.
Dead.
I guarantee. I bet he comes back. I bet he coaches again in MLS. Or unless he.
You think? I mean, it sounds like he's gonna go to Bournemouth.
Yeah, and they'll flounder around the championship. And then what? What's gonna
go to Arsenal for 6 months? He won't go to
Arsenal.
He won't go to Arsenal.
They're gonna just hire him because of the name? I mean, we saw Chelsea do that with Lampard, and we all know how that went.
Yeah,
but on the flip side, look at what's happened at Man United. Maybe that's. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's
some merit there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some merit there, but I mean, overall, I mean. To be honest with you, I kind of vividly remember because I was there when we shut down, because it was I think everyone remembers we had the game against Montreal. We're preparing for the game against I want to say it was either Seattle or NYCFC, but the Seattle game got canceled because they found the cases in King County, if you all remember, and then. Kind of the night before everything went down, because MLS canceled, I think, the day or postponed their season after Gobert tested positive for COVID in the NBA.
Do you remember when he what did he
rubbed on
every microphone?
Yeah, that was
this feels like a lifetime ago. By the way,
it does. It was a year ago, man. Oh no,
it's not even a year ago.
Watch it was the Bucks Celtics game.
It's not even a year ago yet.
It's almost there. Almost there, man. It's nuts. And when it happened, I remember I looked at my boss, Freddie Herrera at the time, and he was like, what's going to happen? I was like, I think the league is going to cancel today or something, because the NBA just did. And what happened? I think they did, and we just sat there and what do we do? And I was like, honestly, the part of the last time I think I was genuinely in the facility, without just actually in the facility. It was very, very strange when your internship just flips remote and you don't do anything for a few months because you don't know when the season's happening. But like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was a great time. It's just been a really crazy year, man. Hopefully things change.
And you weren't, just so the listeners know, you did not go to the bubble, so you did not get COVID with the rest of the team right before.
No,
I
did not go to the bubble. I did not go to the bubble. I was actually invited to go to the bubble. I don't know if I told you all that.
Hey, you told us that. We knew.
Yeah.
We knew.
Yeah.
You tell us everything.
Arman, tell us just about everything.
Yeah, but I decided not to go in the end. Just didn't want to. Obviously, COVID was really unknown, and then obviously what happened to the team, it kind of turned to a blessing in disguise that I didn't end up there. Stuck in Orlando for X amount of days, not being able to do anything. Or stuck in your room in Orlando, not even Orlando, stuck in your room. It's like I said, man, it's been a crazy time. I mean, for soccer as a whole, right? We're almost used to watching no fans in the stands. I hate it, but I'm used to it. I don't know about you guys.
I think that's a good segue to get into our first question here. Question
baby.
Of the day, listeners at Uncle Sam Soccer Pod, at Steven Jodaran, at Jake Watroba, and at Arman Kafai. This time around.
Wait, we can't miss Justin Sosa.
Oh yeah.
Hey, by the way, I just want to interrupt. I was watching a live show before Jake's internet cut out. Was it last week?
That was last. Oh, by the way, knock on wood. Hopefully, we don't have internet connection issues this week.
If anything, it's gonna be with me because my internet's been a little spotty.
Great. Love that.
But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But shout out JJ, shout out Justin. You guys have done a great job with the pod. I've been watching. Great, insightful conversation. I can't bring that energy anymore. I'm old. So we need that young blood, baby. That young blood.
It's interesting. We got some East Coasters now, so it's a little less FC Dallas, a little more Red Bulls, and the conversation. Yeah. So it's a different conversation.
It's okay. It's a larger marketplace, so that's the way I look at it. Yeah. So we can tap into that New Jersey, New York City marketplace there.
More than 12,000 fans.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Well, it depends. Well, I mean, 12,000 fans in Frisco versus 12,000 fans in Harrison, New Jersey. I mean, it's all the same, right? It's all 12,000 fans, right? Or, maybe even 12,000 fans at Yankee Stadium.
All right, we get it, man. Nope. Minnesota United has full stadiums, whatever. We get it, dude. Jesus, man.
All right. Hey,
we get it. Hey, but Jake, let me ask you, man. Oh, we're changing it up. I'm asking you now.
Oh, okay. Hey, this is Arman's show now, I guess. All right.
I'm taking over, baby.
Wow, I didn't know we're getting hijacked.
All right.
Damn, relax, dude.
Chill. Leaves for an entire year, comes back and acts like he owns the place now. He's like, I'm running things.
I know. I know. That's cap. No, but so I've been talking too much. What do you guys think of what's going on with soccer right now? Like, we're at a weird point, right? Like, we're at a point to where, personally, I think this is again personal. I'm not.
So you want to know our current thoughts on the state of soccer? Great. Now I can put this graphic up.
Question of the day.
Boom! There it is. Now you can see it on YouTube.
What are your current thoughts on the state of soccer?
Mine. I mean, I think this is actually kind of how Justin got involved with the show. Was me bitching about how much I hated the bubble because there was no fans and how. Because what was it during the bubble? ESPN didn't put fake crowd noise in, but FS1 did.
ESPN didn't, you're right, but FS1 did. Correct.
And I remember being super stoked that the bubble was happening. I think ESPN had the first couple of games before FS1 did.
With the big old Adidas logo in the middle.
Yeah. And I just remember, the first, watching the game, I'm like, this is pretty cool. And then about 5 minutes in, I'm like, there's no sound. This sucks. And I think for me, it kills it. And I remember when the Bundesliga started back up, and they had because FS1 had their crowd noise, which was basically they ripped off, I don't know, whatever college football game or something to that effect. It was pretty bad. But then the Bundesliga came around, and they actually had instant crowd reactions to certain things, like boos and cheer or chants, and their when teams scored, it seemed like the roar of the crowd was pretty instantaneous, or at least was pretty close to when it was happening. And now I put on the Bundesliga. I don't know when this started. Maybe I was oblivious to this when it happened at the beginning of the season. This past season, this current season. They stopped it, and I'm like, I can't watch this. I can't do it. And I know no one's in the stands. I understand that, but for whatever reason, you don't really hear anything except for guys barking at each other, kind of, and then you hear the kick of the ball. But I need noise. I need kind of a white noise in the background to, it make it more interesting to me, if you will. For some reason, when it's dead silence, it just feels unimportant. I don't know about YouTube, but I can't watch something when there's no fake crowd noise. It's tough.
So, but with the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, it didn't bother you, or does bother you?
Well, the NBA they pumped in fake crowd noise. And the NFL, they did too. And the NHL is weird because I don't know if the NHL does it, but the fact that there's that constant skating, like the skates making noises with the ice, like cutting edges and all that stuff, like that drowns it out. And that doesn't bother me if there isn't crowd noise. Like again, I don't even know if NHL has crowd noise or not. I don't recall. I watched a game last night and I don't recall if there was or not. But for whatever reasons, like part of what I think drew me to soccer and part of what makes soccer fun for me is the atmospheres because they're always different. Like, take for example MLS. I'm going to watch an Atlanta United LAFC game because of the atmospheres long before I'm watching Colorado Rapids or, Houston Dynamo. And I know I've picked probably, two of the more uninspiring teams to watch, but the atmosphere I think makes it feel like it's a bigger event than it is. I don't know if either of you agree with that.
Look, man, that's one of the things that I kind of like. I have to agree with you. We're kind of used to empty stadiums, but I think we're entering a time, man, where it's going to be very interesting. I want to talk about this later potentially, but it's where we are entering a point where I think NBA stadiums are letting in fans. I think the Knicks have 2,000. I know the Mavs have some. I know a lot of arenas are starting to slowly let in people.
NHL too.
Yep, in an indoor arena. So keep that in your mind. And we saw the NFL have I think 20 or 18 or 20,000 people for the Super Bowl. Obviously vaccinations are ramping up, but we just again I'm not trying to make this into a freaking a COVID podcast, but Johnson got approved. They're ramping up. More people are getting vaccinated. I think we're entering a time where maybe not in Europe, but in America at least, we're going to enter a time where we're going to see fans in games, maybe not to the full capacity, but to the point to where you don't need that fake crowd noise anymore. I don't know about you guys. I mean, the season starts in April, so keep that in your mind.
Arman, a serious question. Did the players, talking with FC Dallas, was there...
Well, how much interaction did you have with the players to begin with, I guess, first and foremost?
Well, at the beginning, it was obviously very, seamless. But when the pandemic happened, zero. I wasn't even allowed anywhere near them at all. Because... Go ahead.
I was saying, but how impactful are the fans on players? Yes, we know the home, but are they used to it now? Does it bother them? Are they excited to have fans back?
Well, I'll tell you, from a perspective of you can hear everything, right? I can communicate with someone, I can hear it. A coach doesn't have to yell as loud, when there's a crowd around, you can't hear anybody. You can't hear if it's oh, vamos, like they're cheering on a crowd. You can't hear anybody. But when there's no crowd, you can hear instructions clear. You can make adjustments. You can communicate. You can do all those things, and that's I think it's super interesting. It's just super weird. I guess it's easier for them to communicate and kind of get instructions to each other.
So. Yeah, I think, aren't we all desperate for fans being back? Especially in England.
I'm very desperate for fans back and for the qualifiers, man. Whenever the qualifiers happen.
Well, damn well if we're still in this pandemic, they'll play all those qualifiers in Orlando or Tampa or Miami or wherever because Florida allows for it.
I'm looking at the schedule right now. It looks like the qualifiers doesn't look like they will start in September, for the United States. So, like I said, that's what 7 months away.
Well,
so a lot's gonna change. A lot's gonna change, I think, and hopefully, hopefully, we will see, we don't need that fake crowd noise anymore. I don't know, Steve, and I know you're a huge fan proponent.
Yes, he's a big fan of fans singing the national anthem for national team games. So you better believe that.
Yes.
There.
But let me give you my opening take. So I know we're running more of an agenda-free type show today, but we're going to talk about some U.S. men's national team and MLS here later on the show. But let me ask you guys, what's the best league right now to watch?
Indian
Serie
Super
A.
League, baby. I just watched the
Jesus
game this
Christ.
Saturday. It ended
Jesus
6
Christ.
Odisha versus SC East Bengal, and it ended 6-5. There were 8 goals scored in the second half.
Okay, well, apart from the Indian Super League, which captures everybody's attention these days,
ESPN Plus, baby.
here's my opening take. I think the Premier League is overrated, and it is not as enjoyable to watch. Man City, we last 2 seasons, Liverpool, now Man City are running away with it. Why should I watch? There's no competitive juice to the top of the table. Early on in the season, there was, but look at Ligue 1. Lille is atop of the table with PSG in second, behind by 2 points. Lyon and Monaco are behind PSG by a point.
I'm going to interrupt you.
What?
Do you think? Okay, so look, because you're going to talk about Serie A, you're going to talk about Bundesliga because they're very competitive.
I'm about to go through all of them.
Yep, exactly. But this is gonna be super random. Do you think that the lack of Ligue 1 being on it's on beIN Sports, you have to get fanatics to watch it? Do you think that kind of hurts it? Because to be honest with you, until you kind of brought it up, I didn't realize how close to Ligue 1 race was until you asked us that one day. What place is PSG in? I didn't. Yeah, I had no idea.
It's a detriment, and NBC moving everything behind Peacock is only going to bury the Premier League. Especially since City's running away with it. I do not know why I should care to watch Chelsea play Arsenal in 2 weeks' time when Arsenal blow Chelsea. Well, maybe you watch for Christian Pulisic, but how much playing time is he getting? So what's the point? With Serie A, you got Juventus in third. You got Milan with Ibrahimovic, who is a larger character who says things off the field, which there's always stuff to talk about. You got Inter with Lukaku, who's amazing.
They're playing great, man. Jesus.
Playing great. You got Juventus with Ronaldo, obviously, but they're the team that has been leading Serie A the last 7 to 8 years. But then you got Weston McKennie, who took a gamble, went to this club, and is balling out. He is the best informed U.S. men's national team player right now. Again, there's something to watch there, not only American-wise, but also the top 7. I mean, places...
Sassuolo, man. If you watch them play under De Zerbi, they play attractive, good football. If you're into watching that kind of stuff, there's everything to watch there, and it's easy. I can just stream it from my phone to that TV behind me, and it's there all on ESPN Plus.
I mean, that's I think. I know we're going down the which league is more attractive to watch or which is the most attractive league to watch.
It's the one on ESPN Plus for me. I don't know about
that's the thing. I mean, you talked about beIN Sport. You can't watch I can't watch La Liga. I can't watch Ligue 1. I really don't care to ever really watch either of those 2 leagues.
League, I would be all over it. I think it's a great league.
It's a great league when PSG's not running away with the league. So once every 7 years when Monaco or Lille or Nice or whoever.
But you can say that about the the Premier League. Every time there's a different team running away with it. Why should I care? I want to see
because I feel like teams 2 through 4 or 2 through 7 in the Premier League are much better than leagues 2 through 7 in the Bundesliga or 2 through 7 in Serie A.
I'm not so sure.
I mean, Arman, what's your take?
My take, just on the leagues in general. I just really. I've been watching a lot of Serie A, kind of what Steven was talking about with Inter. They're really in form, Lautaro Martinez, Lukaku, incredible the way he's been playing recently. A lot of Bundesliga as well. I mean, the race between Bayern and Leipzig is only 2 points, and there's a bunch of fun games. I mean, it was yesterday that Leipzig came back down 2-0 against Mönchengladbach, and they won 3-2. With a huge comeback late on. Do you want me to rank my leagues to watch right now?
Let's start from league 10 to 1.
Hey, embrace debate.
Actually, 20. We need the top 20 leagues to watch.
Well, okay, hold on. Before you do that, is MLS a top 20 league in the world? Right.
Yes.
Now? Yes.
Is it a top 15 league?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it a top 10 league?
It's right there. It's right around.
It's on that border.
8, 9, 10.
Oh, so Steven puts it in the top 10. Armand does not put it. So Steven, the guy who's constantly negative of MLS says it's a top 10 league. Arman, who has worked in MLS, says it's close, but not quite. Interesting.
Well,
All right,
hey,
anyway,
you know what? We surprise people.
We'll touch on that, I guess, here later on the show. I guess Arman, rank your top 5. I'm assuming they're all in Europe, so I'm assuming that 5 is Ligue 1.
Just watchability. Number 1, Serie A. Number 2, Bundesliga.
Wait. When you mean watchability, just access to it, or?
Well, remember. I mean, you guys remember, like, when was it? It's over a year ago now. But, like, back in, when I was on the show, remember, one of the key points I made was it being on ESPN Plus is huge. It's huge. It is a huge, like, it regardless of what you say, if I can't watch it, I'm not going to watch it. So you might be surprised by these rankings.
Oh boy!
One
I
is
like
Serie
how
A.
he's starting from the best to the worst, not worst to the best.
Oh, you want me to go from worst to best?
That's usually how you do a
we
power
already
ranking,
know
isn't
number
it?
one.
Yeah, I
Serie
guess at this
A,
point,
okay?
yeah.
Damn. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not used to this.
Oh, no chill.
Top shot this. Number 1 is Serie A. Number 2, Bundesliga. Number 3, Steven, I'm sorry, but it's the Premier League. I can watch an NBC. I can watch an NBC SN.
That's fine. It's okay.
I have Peacock. It's cool. It's The Office is on there. Number 4 is Ligue 1, and then number 5 is La Liga. And I don't know if you guys saw, but it looks like CBS got the access to the Brazilian league, and alongside which that's also a really great league. It's so hard to watch.
That's a top 10 league though in the world.
Yeah, it is, and it's so hard to watch because every time you go try to find a stream, there's like 5,000 ads that you gotta click through, and it's like, well, all I want to do is watch Sao Paulo play Flamengo, man. But I guess I'll just stick to staring at a blank screen.
I guess I'll watch the test play FC20 on ESPN Plus or something stupid like that.
I have to interrupt because we are streaming on YouTube. We do not encourage illegal streaming. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm a freedom-loving American, so you can do whatever you want. It's the repercussions that you have to think about.
Well, I don't want our stream to be taken.
No. We're not. This isn't.
I didn't stream. It was an accident.
We're not playing any copywritten stuff right now. So as long as we're not playing music.
Okay. Well, let's. I think the point here is that it's getting complicated to watch soccer in the United States. You got to buy a lot of different TV packages.
CBS All Access, ESPN Plus, Peacock,
just wait.
Fanatiz.
Just wait until it's.
BWin doesn't BWin have BN?
Aren't they on the way out? Aren't they on the way out though? Aren't they losing La Liga and Ligue 1?
La Liga might go to ESPN Plus, from what I understand.
Where's Ligue 1 going? That's where I want to follow.
Liga did have a TV contract like 3 days ago or something like that. Remember?
Did they come to a deal? I remember.
I'm not sure.
I remember there was an issue which they wanted like $300 million from the U.S. for like the U.S. TV rights, and I think
no one gave it to them.
The only people or only companies to come and make a bid was like Amazon and Discovery Channel for some weird ass reason. It was
Discovery Plus, bro.
Yeah. And they didn't even meet the $300,000 or $300 million bid. So, keep an eye out, I guess, for Ligue 1. Maybe it comes to ESPN Plus. Like that's another thing. I don't know why
Messi goes to PSG. You don't think a TV network here wants to go chase after it?
He won't, because here's the thing: if you're this is the risk with trying to get the Ligue 1 TV rights deals. Like, what happens if I don't speak French. But what happens when Mbappe leaves for Real Madrid or leaves for City or something crazy like that? Or what happens when Neymar leaves for Barcelona again, if that's even possible at this point, because they're bankrupt, it seems like. But, I mean, your two most marketable stars in that league could be on the way out here after this season. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know what's the allure of Ligue 1 if PSG doesn't have top players. Because no one's watching for Nice or Lille or.
Speak for yourself.
Nantes or whoever the hell. I don't even know if Nantes is even good. Anyway, we got a couple comments here. We'll start with Soccer Basher 10. He says the Premier League is too good in the USA. NBC has it locked down.
Who's your top 10 Golden Globe host? I have no idea. Don't care. No idea.
Ricky Gervais. It's on. Ricky Gervais 1 through 10.
Yes.
That's the only correct answer there, Joel.
Oh, wasn't it? Was his speech last year where he
called
just
everyone
ripped on
he
everybody?
called everyone like
pedophiles.
Pedophiles. Yeah, that was basically you're all touching kids. That's what Ricky Gervais did. It was one of the best moments of TV last year.
The best is what's the actor? Toy Story.
Tom Hanks touching kids.
Tom Hanks, where he's just in shock. It's one of the best faces.
He was also. I think there was this. I think somebody and this. Okay, now this is something that maybe could be taken off of YouTube. But wasn't he like allegedly linked to some pedophile ring? I don't know. Anyway, I'm saying allegedly.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Whatever.
Oh
YouTube.
Boy, Jake.
Yeah, YouTube's gonna. Anyway, this is gonna be great for anybody listening to this in podcast form tomorrow. It's like they talked about Tom Hanks touching. What the hell? Anyway.
We're talking about soccer, okay?
All right, Steven, Joel Morgan had another question. I want to get to it here in a little bit once we get off this topic of top leagues that we want to watch that are most consumable as of now. I mean, Steven, what I think I know what your number one is, but give us your 1 through 5.
Oh, Serie A, Liga, Bundesliga. Currently, La Liga, Premier League's 5th.
No love for Andy Samberg. No. He hasn't been great since Popstar. Was he in Popstar? I think he was in Popstar.
Dude, I'm terrible with pop.
What's that stupid? What's that Brooklyn 9-5 or Brooklyn 5-9? 9-9. What the hell's that stupid show called?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't watch. I
only watch French shows on Netflix.
We could probably sit here and talk about the ESPN Plus documentary on blackjack, and we'd be able to discuss that more in depth than some top star TV shows on NBC or ABC or whatever network it is on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a look. I don't watch anything outside of sports all that much. So, and Joel Morgan knows, he's a friend of the show, so he knows what's in my wheelhouse and what's not my wheelhouse. So, but listeners, you'd be surprised at what I don't know. My top 5 league. A lot. For 5, I'm gonna go worst to best, I guess, in this situation here. We're gonna go Ligue 1 because Liga and La Liga, they're tied for 5th because I have no way to really access watching them, and I don't really care to watch live streams from my computer. I prefer to watch it on TV, and if I can't find a way to watch a stream on my TV, then I don't care. The issue here now lies in that I don't really give a rat's ass about the leagues abroad anymore, like I did 5 years ago. So from this point on, I guess from attractiveness, like I think. The Bundesliga, we're Serie A 3. I don't really care to watch Serie A. I'm going to be honest with you. There's really no reason to watch it for me unless I'm watching Weston McKennie. 2, the Bundesliga, just because all the Americans that are playing in the Bundesliga. Now, I understand where this is going, okay? And this is a completely controversial take.
No, boy. Bundesliga
sucks because it's just Bayern Munich running away with it. It's been that way since, was it 2014 that Dortmund last won the league? Was that the year they met in the Champions League final? Dortmund, Bayern?
No, that was 2013.
Something like that.
Anyway.
2013.
The league, from a competitive standpoint, it sucks. But if you care about the national team, you have to. I mean, Bundesliga is at the top of the list there, considering all the top talent plays in the Bundesliga. And number 1, it's Premier League just because it's familiar. I don't know. It just feels like there's I don't know. I don't know why. It's the easiest to access. Even like I have Peacock, so that's not really an issue for me. I get it free through my cable provider. Oh, good for me.
Oh wow, rich boy.
Yeah, rich boy problems. So for me, I mean that's why it's number 1. On the outside looking in, first 4 out for me. We're doing a NCAA tournament style here. The championship has to be considered. The Eredivisie, that also first 4 out, and then the other 2 MLS. And actually, I'm going to be honest with you.
MX?
I'm going to be honest with you. I would put MLS actually in the top 5.
I would too.
I'd put it above La Liga and Ligue 1, but
there you go. We just spent 20 minutes talking about which leagues we like most to watch. Top-notch soccer commentary here at Uncle Sam
It doesn't
Soccer
get
Pod.
any more compelling than that. That's the most compelling content we've ever put out, I think.
I agree. Question of the day: What are your current thoughts on the state of soccer? Or I forget how we phrased the question. Whatever. It's Sunday night here. We've had a few drinks, but more importantly, let's talk about the state of our U.S. men's national team. And it's been some time, Armand, but I don't feel like there's been that much going on with the U.S. men's national team with the pandemic, right? Great, we've had some improvement, but
I hope we didn't lose Arman. Remember when he said that he was having internet issues?
Yeah, well,
I'm going to leave him there. I'm just going to leave him there. Anyone watching is just going to see him staring off into oblivion there. God, we can't get out of our own way these first 2 weeks here with internet problems. Hey, he's back. There he is. All right, perfect. Hey, welcome back. What was that laugh? His internet's
all right, can y'all hear me now?
His internet's so busted.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
All right, yeah, that's what happens when a snowstorm hits your infrastructure and nothing's built for this.
So that happens when your internet runs on windmills.
Dude, it wasn't windmills. It runs on natural gas. Get it right.
Joel Morgan had a question that I think we needed to touch on here before we change subjects here. Once TV contracts for rights get restructured, leagues like MLB will be exposed. Will we see what their true... Joel, you need to brush up on your grammar here. We will see what their true earnings are. Once that happens, where do you see soccer falling in the top earning pro sports? It's kind of a loaded question because, are we talking about the entire soccer landscape, or are we talking about...
Well, you guys also have to remember, let's just say for MLS, right? Some deals are packaged with the U.S. national team rights. So, that's it kind of depends on the national team.
What do you mean?
It kind of depends on the national team. It's different. It's a different case, I think, for MLS than any other league, because NBA it's the NBA product. But with this one, it's as the popularity of soccer overall goes up, it doesn't necessarily have to be MLS. It's the national team, and if the national team's popularity goes up, then because it expires, I think, in 2022, 2021. I'm not 100% sure. The current TV rights deal?
The MLS TV rights deal?
Yeah.
It's after next season, is it not?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. So
it's this year and next year. But I think they can start negotiating a new TV deal this year. Wasn't that the big thing when what's-his-face with Miami FC offered him $4 billion to implement Pro-Rel or something like that? Remember that? 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, Ricardo, or isn't it?
Silva? Something Silva.
Yeah. But I still think MLS is going to be NHL, it sounds like ESPN wants to get involved with them. MLB, they got a big deal.
Why can't ESPN go after La Liga and Liga and just have...
They are.
Yeah, but isn't the Bundesliga walking? No. Or Serie A's potentially walking CBS?
Serie A's potentially, yes, leaving for CBS. There's negotiations going on there. Or no.
So,
yeah, Serie A, yep.
But the Premier League and NBC has to sit there and think, well, okay, if we continue to put games behind our paywall, I think we lose viewership. I really do. I do not. How can you compete with four leagues?
Here's the thing you're not talking about either. NBCSN isn't going to be a thing at the end of the year. NBCSN is going away, so everything is going to be behind Peacock.
I thought they're moving to USA.
Oh, is that what they're doing? Okay, that makes more sense. But, NBCSN is going away. The thing that sucks about that is, remember before Peacock when they used to put a game on USA and a game on NBCSN, and you could watch, you had options?
Well, pain. No more options.
You get what you get. You're gonna get Burnley Crystal Palace on NBC or on USA.
My favorite game.
Meanwhile, Chelsea versus City's on Peacock, and you have to pay to watch that.
No, but... Back to kind of what we're talking about with the excitement of the national team.
Paying to watch on Peacock. Nice.
Paying my Peacock.
With CBS also just took the rights got their rights for the away qualifiers. That isn't Mexico, I think.
What? Shut the hell up! I didn't hear about this. You're breaking news to me right now.
Did y'all not see that?
I didn't see it. Okay, tell the listeners what I don't know.
Yeah, so
maybe they don't know.
CBS got the so you guys remember that the away games that isn't Mexico is when it's Honduras, Trinidad and Tobago, Costa Rica, etc. They're on BN. Well, CBS got access to that, so it's gonna be on Paramount Plus or CBS All Access.
You'd have to pay for that regardless.
No. We're not paying for that. There's a website we can probably find that can probably help us out.
Yeah, but it's interesting, and I'm looking at the schedule right now. There's so many good games. There's the Olympic qualifying that's going to happen soon. I think the players on Guadalajara right now. I don't know. There might be like some announcement or something. The Nations League semifinal, the Nations League, the Gold Cup, the World Cup qualifiers for the national team. We're finally going to start seeing some meaningful games ever since me and Steven went on a rant about how this team is the national program is just absolutely awful.
That was what, 2017?
Yep.
No, there was the Dave Sarakin years there where you guys also laid into.
By the way,
did y'all know
that he's the new head coach of the Puerto Rican national team?
Nice.
Wow.
Good for him.
He parlayed the U.S. men's national team job and North Carolina. Was he
to go work for Puerto Rico?
Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
By the way, shout out to my buddy John Arnold for this article. One of the smaller teams in CONCACAF Champions League history to ever reach I think it was a second division team and it was the USL. It was the Puerto Rico Islanders, who were actually up 2-0 against Cruz Azul going into the second leg, and then they blew a lead and ended up losing in PKs to Cruz Azul before. And that's, I think, the farthest a USL team has gone. Very random fact.
Is Puerto Rico FC of the NASL still a club, by the way? Wasn't that owned by like Carmelo Anthony or something?
I think, yeah, it was, but it doesn't exist.
Anyway.
But, meaningful games coming up, guys. We finally get to see what, my prophecy of, being competitive in 2026. If you guys remember that.
Okay, so what's the current? So what's the state of this U.S. men's national team?
You have Weston McKennie in Juventus playing great. You have Pulisic, which I don't know if we're really worried about his playing time, but I'm not personally. I don't know if you guys are.
Well, he's 22. We're not worried about his career time. I just think his days at Chelsea are limited.
It'd be nice if he could get on the field, which is so odd because he's playing for Tuchel, who he played under at Dortmund.
Who loved him?
Which I can't imagine. I don't like you. You loved him at Dortmund, but you mean to tell me you love Ziyech more than you like Pulisic? I don't know. It's just weird to me. As somebody who doesn't really watch Chelsea that closely anymore, as a Chelsea fan,
he came off the bench today. And
he really made a major impact as they drew United 0-0.
But Pulisic obviously is there. Gio Reyna with Dortmund. A lot of players. Brandon Aronson has gone from the Union and is starting in Europa League games for Salzburg. More players might move. Brian Reynolds, FC Dallas, moved to Roma. We saw Reggie Cannon move to Boa Vista in Portugal. Players are moving abroad. Serginho Dest. I could go on and on. Chris Richards with Hoffenheim. He's looking great. I don't know if you guys have seen them.
All right, so we get it. U.S. men's national team. They're in Europe. They're playing well. But let's put the tinfoil on for a second. How many MLS players do you expect for this U.S. men's national team for the World Cup? Not qualifiers, not friendlies, but how many do you genuinely think? Because I think the number now is below 5. I think you can have. I think majority of your. Okay.
You're saying on a 23-man roster. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, on a 23-man roster.
All right, here you go. I'll give it to you right now.
You know what? Apart from goalkeepers, let's just keep goalkeepers out. I think you are looking at below.
Well, jeez. Okay, well, there's 2.
Okay.
There was 2 right there.
Okay, fine. Even include goalkeepers. I don't think you're going to get more than 5 MLS players.
All right, here we go.
Because I think
here we go. I'll do it for you right now. Ready for this? 1. Gossi Zardes. You can't laugh at that. You know damn well.
He's for sure going to get called up.
Who the hell else after Josh Sargent are you going to call up after him?
Matthew Hopp?
Yeah. Is Daryl DK going to be in Europe this time next year?
Maybe.
That actually could very well be.
Yeah, actually,
possible.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, but no, but I'm not done yet. Sebastian Lletget is probably on the roster.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. Okay, Caden Clark then? Something like that? I don't know.
Caden Clark would be in Leipzig by then.
That's probably a good point, too. All right. Come on. All right, true. That's true. All right.
Well, okay, no, Jake. You're making
Jordan Morris. Jordan Morris. There's no way. Jordan Morris is not going to be.
Jordan Morris, yes, but let's be
Aaron
honest.
Long.
Again, gotten hurt. I think
Matt Turner.
Aaron Long. And there's probably a conversation to be made at one of the fullback positions. You probably have to take a guy like Sam Vines or something like that because
I mean, you
unless
have
you
to
want
take,
Serginho Dest playing on the left.
You have to take more experienced guys, though, no? Like, there has to be a couple experienced guys you take. Like, look, like you're gonna hate me for this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Bradley got called up.
Okay, all right, buddy. This is why we kicked you off the podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, you wouldn't. Wait, you. Okay. You guys would be surprised if Michael Bradley got called up?
Yes.
Josie Altidore.
There you go. But he probably might leave too. Like
Walker Zimmerman.
More than 5 people.
I think 5 or 6 is probably the
okay. So I mean,
the most.
It is a fair assessment. 5. It seems like 5's the number. You might be 7, or it could be 4. But it seems like we're not going to have an MLS heavy roster.
And
guess
4
what?
And 6.
That's
4 and 6.
a good thing. It is. It is a good thing that our U.S. men's national.
Jurgen Klinsmann prophecy is coming to life, huh?
It is coming to life. And here's the other point.
Don't tell us haters, though.
Well, here's the other point I'd like to make. Just because a U.S. men's national team player is at a Barcelona, Real Madrid, and I think Christian Pulisic will eventually make it to Real Madrid, but that's just my conspiracy. That's my tinfoil Ted. Tinfoil hat. I got on.
Tinfoil Ted.
But here's the point: if just because they are at this big club does not mean it is a guarantee that they should be on the roster or a guarantee that they should get playing minutes with the U.S. men's national team. We should take account. How often they play at said club. Doesn't mean that some Joe Schmo playing in the 3rd division in Sweden deserves a call up because he's playing every game. No. But just because Christian Pulisic or Zach Steffen is at Manchester City and is the backup, that should not be the deciding point over Matt Turner of
there's a New England Revolution bias right there. Oh, we just heard it. Jake,
Matt Turner is playing every game.
Did you hear that?
Does this bring back old memories for you? He can't help himself.
Dude, Steven just had to.
Yep.
Look, Matt Turner's an amazing keeper, and by statistics, mind you, he's an amazing keeper.
I think there's a legit argument to be made that he should be the starting keeper for the national team over Zach Steffen, actually. And
I think Zach Steffen should be the starter, but that's.
I mean, I'm I'm saying, I think there's a good argument to be made.
You can make an argument about it, and I won't be like, oh, you're an idiot.
This guy's an idiot. Yeah, no. It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not like saying all those. I remember back in 2014. I don't remember. Maybe a little bit later, people telling me that Brad Guzan needed to be starting over Tim Howard. I'm like, who? Like, what?
Who?
Yeah, who? Brad Guzan, designated player, Brad Guzan for the Atlanta United. Yeah, I don't know. I think Steven, and we've had this discussion too. I still don't think the U.S. men's national team's talent pool is deep enough to where they can say guys who aren't getting playing time or enough playing time at big clubs.
What's the transition that we've made in the last? I don't know.
I mean, the talent pool's gotten deeper. It's gotten deeper. But if you're gonna sit here and say, because case in point, you can say Zach Steffen versus Matt Turner, right? Matt Turner plays every week for New England Revolution. Zach Steffen really only gets playing time in FA Cups or Carabo Cup.
But he's also training and
training against the best players in the world.
And
you're right. That does. But guess what? I don't care. It's what you do when you don't get paid to be an athlete who trains with a team. You get paid to put on a performance on the field that is counted towards a season, towards a cup. Okay? That's what matters.
That's what raises your performance, though, no? Like, I remember when Weston McKennie moved to Juventus, people were like, he won't play. He should have gone to Southampton. Y'all remember that, right?
Was on this show. We can't see your hand because you're cut out there. We kind of can see it. Yep, it was this guy. Pain. Yep.
It's like, dude, it's like Weston's training against some of the best players in the world. Of course his game is going to go up, regardless if he plays every single game for Juventus, which he kind of is now, or if he played maybe half the games, his game is going to go up. He's going to be a better player. It's the same with, players moving abroad. Like, they're going to get better. Well, usually. If they don't, then they're just not good.
Do you remember, by the way, we have a couple questions here to get to with the chat, but do you guys remember when Weston McKennie was trying to force that move to Aston Villa or Southampton, and then out of nowhere it was he's going to Juventus, and we were like, what the hell?
I was shook.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, is Schalke really, is Southampton really better than Schalke? or Hertha Berlin or something like that. I was like, I don't, because I think Hertha was the other team after him as well.
It's really interesting because I think a couple days ago they just announced, or they didn't announce, but it was said that they're going to exercise the option to buy him, which at
they have to.
18.5 million pounds or euros or whatever it is, that seems kind of cheap.
Well, wasn't the clause
there was a
50%?
rumor that Juventus would flip him though to a Premier League club, because some Premier League clubs have been in.
No quick flips, baby. We're holding for the long haul.
He's got what, 5 goals in the season?
He's been great.
I mean, that's pretty good for a midfielder.
Well, he's the best. He's the best player right now with the U.S. men's national team.
I don't think it's close.
No cap.
Let me just crack open another. We'll drink to that. Weston McKennie being the best player within the national team. All right, we got a couple questions. Let's get to these questions here.
Let's get to the questions.
Let's start with Matthew Genzink. Thanks for watching. You were watching last week too before our stream crashed, so I apologize for that. But hey, we'll show you love here. We'll get to your question here. Which U.S. men's national team player is your current favorite? I think for me, I mean, I don't know, man. I know he hasn't been in great form recently, but I love me some Gio Reyna, especially when he's playing next to Erling Haaland. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but
Jake likes those U18 players, huh?
That's right, baby. We like them young. No, I'm not saying that. Okay, we like them kids. I don't know. What about
clearly,
you guys?
that was a joke.
Yeah, that was clearly a joke. All right, come on, guys. Chat, chill. I mean, Arman, what about you? Who's your current favorite national team player to watch?
I might get roasted for this one.
Uh-oh.
I've been enjoying watching Daryl DK play.
Who doesn't like watching guys score goals? Let's be real.
Like for Barnsley, he's been playing really he's a good player. He makes the right runs. He makes the good reads. I enjoy I don't know why, but I just kind of enjoy watching him play. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the young guy. Aronson as well. Those two guys I've been really interested by because of Salzburg's system, right? They are part of the Red Bull system. They press high. Marsh is there. It's been fun to watch. I enjoy watching Aronson play, even though he gets subbed out after 65 minutes.
It is, to Jake's point with Gio Reyna, those U18 players I think are very exciting to watch. There's that huge unknown factor. So
the Olympics, basically, the Olympic guys, the guys who would qualify for the Olympic age group, they're super fun, super interesting. I agree with you.
Yeah, and let me just make a point. We were clearly joking, just for anybody out there.
Thank you.
We want to make that point loud and clear. We do not advocate for any of that. That's just gross, disgusting, and there's a special place.
Everybody knew we were kidding. All right, now you're taking it into a weird
in
spot.
Today's age, Jake, you just simply do not know. But currently, I think the most exciting player has got to be Weston McKennie. He's the most exciting. He's currently my favorite.
I don't know if he's the most exciting player to watch, but I can. But, teach their own. I get it. I don't watch Juventus all that much. I'm not going to lie. I don't
By the
watch
way, super random. I just looked on Twitter for 1 second. Looks like Ted Lasso won a Golden Globe.
Oh.
So there you go. At Joel Morgan, Ted Lasso.
I love Ted Lasso, by the way.
I never watched it. I don't have Apple
an amazing
TV.
show. Makes me happy.
That's another streaming service you have to pay. Yeah. Apple,
I can't.
Amazon,
Wait until they get.
I got it free, so.
Get some other weird rights for some other leagues. All right, next question here from Soccer Basher 10. He wants to know, will Matt Turner be in Europe?
Why are you watching this if you're a Soccer Basher?
Unless I'm reading his name wrong, it looks like it says Soccer Basher. In Europe, I guess I'd like to know a time frame. I'm going to assume by we'll just say by this time next year.
I don't think he's going to. He wants to go to Europe, but he just signed a long-term contract with the Revolution. I think it's after World Cup.
He's going to be on the roster, right?
After World Cup. He's going to get consistent playing time, and then his stock is going to go up, and then he'll try it after World Cup. That's what I would do if I were him or if I were advising him.
He's going to get consistent playing time with the national team, so are you saying that Greg Berhalter is going to be selecting him over Zach Steffen, which, by the way, Zach Steffen played for Berhalter at Columbus Crew?
What I'm saying is he's getting consistent playing to the Revolution. He's already a part of the pool. Obviously, Berhalter likes him quite a bit. That you don't want to risk it and jeopardize it by going to a different club and end up being like an Ethan Horvath, for example, right? Where it's just you're not playing as much, etc. You want it to where you're consistently playing. You're playing. You're getting paid a decent amount. What it seems like, and it's just I think for him it's a good idea to stay and leave maybe after. And if he doesn't, you played in the World Cup, and sure, you can challenge yourself. But I mean, the pinnacle is to play or be dressed for World Cup. And I think in his current state, we just talked about it, you can make an argument that he should be a starting goalkeeper.
As long as he performs well in the Revs and Zach Steffen doesn't take number one at City, or Zach Steffen gets loaned out and he plays consistently. I mean, there is an argument to be made. Now, if Zach Steffen goes out and gets loaned out to a Premier League club and he's playing 31 out of the 30-some games.
It's over. You can't select Matt Turner over Zach Steffen.
You can't. You really can't. Unless Zach Steffen blows.
Which is possible. He could be terrible. I mean, Zach Steffen wasn't really all that great at Dusseldorf last year, was he? I don't think he was world-beating. I get it. I believe they got relegated out of the Bundesliga last year, but I don't think they were anything to write home about. But, I mean, Matt Turner is the only MLS player I think that you can make an argument should be starting tomorrow if you were playing a World Cup qualifier. I mean,
advanced analytics wise, he lights it up. He lights it up compared to other MLS goalkeepers, and even compared to Zach Steffen. But I think I would personally have Zach Steffen on for right now.
Well,
that's just your anti-New England bias.
I'm not anti-New England. They're a fun team. Tajon Buchanan's gonna be a great player for the Canadian national team. I think that's really.
Should we talk MLS? I think that's a good transition to talk about MLS. Let's Arman's 3 things to watch this upcoming season.
All right, so I have 3 things to watch. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Number 1, fans in stadiums. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and again, I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not trying to make us to a COVID podcast. Whatever. I think we'll have fans in wherever there's home games. I think we'll have fans there, except maybe California, for the first game of the season on April 17th. My take. Because, like I said, things are looking up. It's outdoor. We saw fans for the end of the season. I think it's a very welcome sight to see, soccer fans getting to go and watch games. But I think my second point is going to be more of a talking point. The 3 new stadiums. FC Cincinnati, Austin FC here 3 hours away, and the Columbus Crew Stadium. First off, all of them look amazing. And I want to ask you guys, if you guys have seen them. If not, you can BS.
Yeah,
which stadium do you think is the best?
I saw Columbus Crew put out. I'm just gonna dump on the Crew again, and it's a tale as old as time. Us dumping on the Columbus Crew. They released updated renderings of their new stadium, and I just want to say that those don't look very accurate because the stadium was sold out, and I don't recall ever seeing a Columbus Crew game sold out ever. So, low-hanging fruit, sorry. Did I offend anybody? I'm sure somebody will be pissed off for that. No, I mean, the new stadiums are fun and exciting. I mean, FC Cincinnati looks kind of baller. Another thing, too, and Arman, I don't know if you're going to get to this or not. Actually, I think you are because I'm looking at the Google Doc, and like a good podcaster, we prep for this. Linked to Brazilians, I think you're talking about the pandemic and hoping that we have fans in the stands here maybe by summer. Or fall, even.
By April, man. I think it's gonna be April, guys. I don't know.
You're more optimistic than some of us are.
April 17th. You will see fans in stadiums for MLS games.
The pandemic has, I think, helped. Steven, you're muted.
Pain.
Wait. Let me interrupt there. Arman, your take that you're going to see fans in stadiums isn't anything special because we already have fans. We've seen fans across the NFL in stadiums. The NBA is about to open up, and the NHL. So wow. I'm so surprised they're going to be.
It's a welcome sight. You guys are. You're complaining.
It is a welcome sight, but I just want to make it a point that it's not some sort of special.
To watch for.
Well, it's not going to be some sort of
this.
special thing that MLS is going to do.
I'm going to say this, and I don't like to take it down this road with this show, given that we stick to sports. I do think there is a political aspect that plays into this. I do think that I think we all are aware of the general political leanings of soccer fans in this country, and I think that the people who lean to that side of the political spectrum are a little bit more, we'll say, cautious as it relates to COVID-19.
Risk averse.
Yes, I think they push back on the notion of going to stadiums. I think FC Dallas took a lot of heat for having fans in the stands, and albeit what was the most FC Dallas allowed last year?
4,000. I think
that's
maybe
nothing.
4,000. That range is nothing in a 20,000 seater stadium.
But they got fans today in the Boston Bruins Rangers game, I believe, or whoever they were playing in New York. They had fans there. So yeah, in some cities it's still going to be a no, but the southern cities they're going to have fans in Orlando, maybe Atlanta. I don't know with the dome situation, but I think they had
fans last year. They had fans last year.
Well, okay, Dallas, Houston, Austin might be an interesting tale, but that's an outdoor stadium. Fine, allow 1,000 or 2,000 fans. Spread them up. To me, it's not going to be any big ordeal. The biggest thing is going to be, when do we start seeing 50%, 75% capacity? And that might not happen for several months.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I really hope so, because it's very strange when, like, we're talking about these new stadiums, Austin, Columbus, Cincinnati. Is it really a debut when there's only, like, 5,000 fans? Kind of like Louisville City, right? They had their, like, kind of half-full stadium that was...
Nashville. Nashville had one game with fans, and then their entire season. Like, think about how cool that playoff run would have been if fans...
they had fans, but it was like 5,000 of them. So it's like, I just wish that, like, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean,
I'm going to go on a limb and say clubs like Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, FC Dallas, Houston
and probably
Austin, Columbus,
Kansas City,
Cincinnati,
Denver.
Kansas City. I think there are clubs that come, I will say, May or June are going to be given the go-ahead to go 75% capacity or something to that effect. I think there are going to be clubs like Portland, Seattle, LA, San Jose, New York, the Revs, who are not going to be afforded that opportunity right away. I think it's going to be 25% to 50% capacity max for most of the season. But
what do you think the Canadian teams are going to do?
I think they're going to be playing. They're playing stateside. They're going to be. They're all relocating to the U.S. So I mean, that's another issue there too.
But again, I guess back to the point. Which stadium do you guys is going to be? I guess
Cincinnati.
It's Cincinnati. That's the
easy
answer.
It looks brilliant. I think it looks brilliant. I think Austin's going to be really interesting. So you guys have kind of talked about it with your shows. With their competitiveness with FC Dallas and Houston. Is it going to drive up attendance for other teams or not? I think Austin's going to be great. I'm personally excited for Austin, man. I have a bunch of friends who live there. I love that city. It's a great city. I've told you guys about it multiple times. Hope to go there for an F1 race this year. But it's...
that's what I'm excited for.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting, Austin. Like, they have, I think, 10,000 season ticket holders on the waiting list? It's exciting, man. And with Cincinnati, they added Brenner. They're adding that U20, U20 US U20 Kyle Scott, which I remember his name when he was at Chelsea. They're linked with Brazilians. I wonder what's going to happen with this team, because they've been so
dark horse
difficult to watch. And what about with Frankie Amaya, right? Like, he was linked to a trade. Like, I want to get out of here. He wants to do a trade request. As soon as you see what's going to happen with that team, I think they could be competitive. I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't know about you, Jake.
No, and that was that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about with the Brazilians. You talked about Brenner. They're also linked to Luan. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right.
Oh,
I mean, the pandemic.
Another Brazilian that came to MLS.
Well, I guess the point I'm making here is MLS now has, they've gone into Brazil with Brenner, and they've bought a player from Brazil. And now they're linked to Luan. I believe it was FC Cincinnati too was linked to him, correct, Arman?
Yeah.
I think the pandemic has now allowed MLS to go to Brazil, and because the asking prices on these players have gone down, they're able to now kind of establish those connections with Brazilian clubs, get Brazilian talent, and hopefully with guys like Brenner and maybe Luan, we can kind of start to see those avenues being pursued more, because I think that's kind of the next frontier for MLS, which are we all in agreement that that league in Brazil is the best league in the Western Hemisphere?
Yep.
So when you can start getting talent from there and pulling talent from there, it's only going to make MLS better.
Well, 100%. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this whole experiment with FCC, with Atlanta United, and that kind of goes to my next point, and LAFC, the teams that we kind of grew up saying, well, not grew up, but like
last couple of years.
The last couple of years have been good. They kind of had down years last year. I mean, with the worst manager in the history of the Premier League, Frank de Boer, rooting Atlanta.
I wish I had that Jose Mourinho comment queued up.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. And then LAFC, you know, they kind of had a down year with the injuries to Vela, with Rossi and Brian Rodriguez being out. Brian Rodriguez isn't going to come back this year. I'm interested to see how these teams fare because I don't know if you guys have watched the soccer that Gabriel Heinze, the new coach of Atlanta, kind of does. He coached at Velez.
I haven't.
But it's very Bielsa-esque. So, I mean, like, if you look at a lot of these teams, they kind of grow up, like, a lot of these managers, they grow up idolizing Bielsa. And, like, from what I understand and what I know and what I've heard, Heinze is, like, one of those guys that follows Bielsa to a T. Like,
did he coach at Newell's Old Boys?
I think he.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Actually, I didn't expect you to know that. I'm sorry. You're just talking about Bielsa, so I just thought I'd mention that.
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
I hope so.
Because I think Franco Escobar or one of the Argentines on Atlanta said he played with Heinze. I'm not 100% sure who. But it's gonna be really interesting because they brought in Marcelo Moreno, Santiago Sosa, Eric Lopez. Like, they're bringing in a bunch of South Americans. They're gonna be really good for their style. They have Barco, Joseph's coming back. Like, that team might be a force. LAFC, Vela Rossi duo's back, and they get back to that 2019 form. I mean, they have defensive issues. So they address it with the signing of Kim Moo-hwan. They got Corey Baird. Are those issues fixed? I don't know. Is the pandemic, like, you know, not playing a condensed season where you have a game every other day going to help them? I sure hope so. Maybe having fans will help. I don't know. It depends on what happens. Sure hope it helped them, but those are teams I'm really interested to watch. I don't know about you guys, but
I mean, keep in mind they lost Vela too for how many games last season because of the because of the COVID and because of he had a child, I think, right?
Yeah, his wife was pregnant. Yep.
Yeah, so
what do we think in Montreal?
I think they suck.
Well, no Henry, so
how about that? Can I say that?
They spent some money on the Chicago midfielder.
Mihalovic. They got
Mihalovic. And then, did you hear that it was Henry that called him, and that's the reason why he made the move to Montreal. Now he must be sitting there going like, "Damn it."
Well, I don't think he really had a decision.
I wonder who's going to be the coach. It's not going to be Laurent Simon. It's going to be. I don't know. It's going to be someone. It has to be someone else. Like that team is.
Did you like the Montreal rebrand?
The Snowflake?
Yeah.
I thought it was fine, man.
I think it could be worse.
I'm literally looking at a box right now that I got from France, a sticker box, and it's called Panini Foot. Like, people don't know, like the French people, like, you know this as a French speaker sometimes, Steven. Like, it's foot. It's foot.
Yeah, no.
So, like, they're called Club de Foot de Montreal. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with their crest, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'll have to hate it.
I mean, Montreal Impact was the dumbest name in the league, I think. I'm just going to throw it out there. Actually, Houston Dynamo is the dumbest league name in the league. But Montreal Impact was also on that same level as stupidity. The rebrand is like, it's fine. Like, I think the logo is kind of meh.
Do you think, like, here we are talking about rebrands. You have, like, Charlotte, right, that we talked about. Sacramento dropping out. Like, that's news. It's an interesting spot MLS is in right now. They're making signings, they're flipping players. Like, there's a lot of momentum behind it. Where will it go? And I don't know if it's ever going to climb the mountain and be the sixth league outside of Europe. Like, I think there's such a stepping stone. I'm not sure players around the world say, yes, I want to go to MLS in the prime of my career. No, I want to go to MLS to get paid and maybe later on in my career. But, you know, if Barcelona come calling up and you got LA Galaxy, or if you got Juventus, or you got Bayern Munich, or you got Dortmund, Arsenal, how many players are going to sit there and go like, oh, well, let me pick the club in MLS over the 20, 30 teams in Europe that have history, culture, prestige? And if you are successful at these clubs, you are at the top. if you win with the Galaxy MLS Cup, no one's sitting there going like, yes, that guy did something great. Good, he won MLS, but
except Baron Davis.
Except Baron Davis, yeah. Except Baron Davis.
But you're right, Steven. You're right. No one's gonna do that yet, but in the future, the financial stability, man.
Do you think MLS could compete with the presentation of talent that you see on display week in and week out with the Premier League? Do you think we'll ever get that, even in 100 years' time?
Yes.
Do you think it'll ever?
100 years, yes. Yes.
In 100 years, it'll be the best league in the world, yes.
I just don't. I don't know if I buy that.
It needs to first become better than Liga MX, and you know how it becomes better than Liga MX? You join Liga MX, which is what's going to happen in 5 years from now, 5, 6 years from now. Okay, 2026 World Cup. Once it happens, they'll merge with Mexico. Yeah. And I say this. I'll say this. I'll bang this drum until it doesn't happen. All right, until I'm proven wrong in 5 years from now. They each have what the other doesn't. And that's why they're going to merge. Once they do that, and once they're able to make a lot more money, they're going to be able to spend and get bigger time players. Players want the American lifestyle. You know, you can't tell me that playing in Manchester United is more attractive than living in LA or living in Miami.
But what age? What age are these players? 30 or 23?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, that's the key, right?
That's what I'm arguing. I'm not saying that players don't want to play in MLS.
I'm not also saying, by the way, that in 5 years they're going to be getting, Marcus Rashfords of the world when they're 24 years old to come over and play for LA Galaxy. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is you're going to really start to see things, crank up here in 5 years when they when the World Cup comes and goes in the U.S. and they're able to throw more money around. I mean, like I said, they're going into Brazil now and they're getting players from Sao Paulo, for Christ's sakes. I mean, this is moving in a direction that you should be confident in their ability now to at least try to attract bigger name players or bigger time talent. And like I've always said too in this podcast, there's no shame of being on a league that's a similar stature of like the Eredivisie or
no, there isn't.
Ligue NOS, something like Portugal or the Netherlands, something of that nature. I mean, those are still pretty good leagues. You mean to tell me that if MLS was made out of clubs that were like Benfica or Sporting Lisbon, like kind of on that same level, you wouldn't be more compelled to watch it? I mean, okay, as a guy who's Swiss, who pays a little bit of attention to the Swiss league, is the Swiss Super League or whatever the hell it's called. If you had a bunch of clubs that were like Young Boys or Basel, you wouldn't be excited about that? You wouldn't care to watch it more?
Oh, I already do watch it as much as I can.
So,
but here's the thing: I don't want my Swiss national team players playing in the Swiss league. I want them all playing outside of Switzerland.
That's great.
I don't. Okay, look, I care that the Swiss league is successful in Europe. Young Boys making it to the round of 16 with a potential American scoring 2 goals or 3 goals in 2 games, or 2 goals in 2 games here in the round of 32, and his name is eluding me. But
Granit Xhaka. He's got a red card.
I don't look and say, oh, the question is, do you want MLS to succeed or do you want the U.S. men's national team to succeed? And if you want the U.S. men's national team to succeed, you want every player in Europe for the next 50 years. And you do not want I just don't see it happening. Don't tell me you want Christian Pulisic playing in 20 years, the next Christian Pulisic type player playing for FC Cincinnati when Chelsea or Liverpool, you could be playing for them in 20 years' time.
I'm not saying that. I guess it depends on where FC Cincinnati is 20 years from now and where MLS as a whole is 20 years from now. You don't know that. You are assuming that MLS is still where it is 20 years from now. And you could have had this conversation 20 years prior. 20 years ago, MLS was a lousy league. I think we all can admit that. As somebody who never watched the league in 2001, I can probably tell you that it was a miserable league. It wasn't very good. I'm sure I offended a bunch of MLS fanboys by saying that, but it's the truth. So why am I not to assume that 20 years from now it isn't leaps and bounds better than what it is right now? That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. I think we're splitting here. MLS is only going to grow. I do agree with you that. I just don't know what the ceiling is. I genuinely do not know. I have a hard time.
There is no top.
I just don't see it competing with the Premier League or Liga or Serie A or La Liga or the Bundesliga. Maybe it competes with France, but I just don't see the talents. Lukaku or Antoine Griezmann have talked about wanting to play in America, but after they've had their prime in Europe. And I don't. Has to
right
flip.
now though.
After they call their dad and tell him, Dad, this is it. I can't do it anymore in Europe." Remember the Chicharito video last year when he was like,
"Yep,
yeah." No, I mean, Steven, you're right. That's the thing.
That's what MLS has to compete with. Not the money, not the infrastructure, not that America is a place that players want to come to from around the world. It is the idea from European players. Yes, I would love to play in America. I don't know how many players we've heard that from, but it's always been in a few years, down the road, at the end of my career. And for better or worse, we might as fans here in America say, well, no, MLS is not a retirement league. Look at all these youngsters coming up. Great. Who cares what we think? It cares what the players think, especially the Lukakus, the Griezmanns, the Paul Pogbas of the world, Messi, Ronaldo. The list goes on. Ask Christian Pulisic right now. Hey, you want to go to play in MLS in 3 years when you're 25, 26? What do you think his answer is going to be like? Sure, I'd like to play in MLS.
I've been waiting to play for Philadelphia Union my whole life. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
That's exactly what he's going to say.
That's exactly what he's going to say. Go back to my hometown club, Philadelphia Union, baby. Anyway, all right, that's it for today's show. We got to wrap. We got to be done here. We've gone an hour and 20 minutes. We've taken up more than Arman's time. Yeah, big stretch. Yeah, all right.
Yo, Arman, are we going to see you again? You coming back on soon?
We'll find out, man.
Oh, you're okay, buddy. He ain't coming back on. All right. That's it for today's show. You can follow the show on Twitter at UncSamSoccerPod, at Steven Jodaran, at Arman Kafai. You can give Arman Kafai a follow again now, and he can talk about MLS and not just give you his Dallas Mavericks hot takes like he was doing at this time last year because he couldn't talk about MLS players.
Luka Doncic.
Yeah, he loves Luka Doncic. Arman, quickly, should Rick Carlisle are his days numbered with the Mavericks?
No.
There you have
Also, should Porzingis be moved?
Yes.
I don't know, man. What superstar wants to play with Luka? Come on, give us the dream team here.
Bradley Beal.
You're the Mavs free GM.
John Collins, baby. Give me John Collins. I'll be happy.
Also, Top Shot I should buy.
Kevin Garnett.
All right. There you have it.
Hey, Super Bowl, your Super Bowl pick for next year. We got to get all these takes in.
Cowboys.
Okay. All right. That's it. We're wrapping. We're done.
MLB.
Rangers. Stars.
No, not the Stars. Screw them.
Make the playoffs.
The Canadians.
Okay. All right, buddy.
You've had enough for 10
minutes. Yeah, we've had enough. All right.
Montreal.
Question of the day, listeners. What are your current thoughts on the state of soccer? Let us know on Twitter at UncSamSoccerPod, at Arman Kafai, at Steven Jodaran, at JustinSosa99, and at JJ Post. For Steven and Arman, I'm Jake. We will talk to you guys next time. Later.